If you're a fan of awkward, cringe-inducing comedies that'll give you secondhand embarrassment, then there are two new movies coming out this week that I want to recommend. One you can watch in theaters and one you can watch at home. Friendship starts playing in select theaters this week, and Summer of '69 will be available to stream on Hulu on Friday, May 9th. Why it's being released on 5/9 instead of 6/9 is beyond me, but that's beside the point. I just want to stress that these movies definitely won't appeal to everyone, and humor is so subjective, especially the type of humor in these movies. You're either going to be on the movie's wavelength or you're going to be miserable and hate it. You can decide for yourself whether or not that's a risk you're willing to take. I personally didn't think I'd like either of these movies, and now I've seen them both twice. So I wanted to share my experiences in case anyone needs help deciding whether or not to check out these movies. I'll start off with Summer of '69 because that one will be more accessible since it'll be on Hulu. But if you're only interested in hearing about Friendship, feel free to skip ahead. This is how you know the studios and distribution companies are not paying me to talk about their movies, because I don't think they'd be pleased with me saying I didn't think a movie would be good, but I think that context is important. I didn't watch the trailer for Summer of '69. All I knew about it was that it's Jillian Bell's directorial debut and Chloe Fineman plays an exotic dancer. So I thought it'd be a generic raunchy comedy that I could just watch while multitasking, because I didn't think I'd be into it enough to give it my full undivided attention. I was honestly prepared to watch it while folding my laundry, but I wanted to give it a shot because I like Jillian Bell. So I put this movie on and was surprised to find out that it doesn't take place in the summer of '69, it takes place in 2025. But more importantly, I was surprised by how quickly this movie won me over. Right from the start, it's clear it's about a high school senior named Abby, played by Sam Morellos, who wants to hook up with her crush before graduation. And I've seen that premise countless times before, so I could have easily mentally checked out. But I've never seen Sam Morellos in anything before, and there was something so endearing about her performance that just grabbed my attention. And the movie just has this silly, delightfully unserious vibe. So when it's established that her crush's favorite position is 69, so her goal is to learn how to do that, and then the title card drops and the song 69 starts playing over a fantasy dance sequence, I was thinking, okay, I'm kind of into this. I enjoyed the movie so much that I did not fold my laundry or multitask while I watched it. I know I shouldn't admit that I was ever even considering doing that, but I think it's such high praise when someone puts on a movie they don't think they're going to pay attention to, and then they end up fully engrossed in it. I went from expecting to have no interest in this movie to laughing out loud by myself, and I waited until after the movie was over to fold my laundry, and I did it while listening to the song 69 on repeat. I've seen plenty of coming-of-age movies where someone is trying to lose their virginity or get laid, but there's something about the premise of a high school senior hiring an exotic dancer to teach her how to 69 that's so weirdly specific that it was obvious this is the type of movie that doesn't take itself too seriously. It's such a ridiculous, silly premise, but the movie has this self-aware tone that makes it work. And this movie is so unexpectedly sweet and heartwarming. I noticed a lot of little details when I rewatched it that I didn't pick up on the first time around, and it just feels like Jillian Bell put a lot of love into this film, and I immediately added it to my list of comfort movies. I know not everyone is going to enjoy this movie as much as I did, but if you're a fan of movies like Booksmart, The To-Do List, Blockers, or Bottoms, then I think you might like it too. Switching gears, I didn't think I'd like the movie Friendship because I never watched I Think You Should Leave, and I was told Tim Robinson has a very distinct type of humor. I saw this movie at TIFF last year, and the screening I went to was at maybe 8 or 9 a.m., and I was very sleep deprived, so I wasn't expecting to laugh because I wasn't sure if I'd be into Tim Robinson's style of humor, and I was extremely tired. But it made me laugh out loud repeatedly, and there was one moment that was quite possibly the hardest I laughed during any movie I saw last year, although I will admit I didn't laugh as hard when I rewatched it. Friendship has a pretty simple premise. Tim Robinson plays a man who tries to be friends with his new neighbor, played by Paul Rudd, and becomes a little too infatuated with him. If you're like me and enjoyed I Love You Man, but didn't think it quite captured just how excruciating it is to try and make friends as a socially awkward adult, then this movie might be for you. It's like a more awkward, creepier, sadder version of I Love You Man. It's more along the lines of something like Ingrid Goes West or The Cable Guy, but I think the movie that it's most comparable to in terms of its absurd, uncomfortable, painfully awkward tone and unhinged humor is Chuck and Buck. I don't think there's any way to know for sure if the movie's humor is going to work for you before you see it, but I think you'll be able to figure out right away if you're going to love it or hate it. I've heard people say that if you're a fan of I Think You Should Leave, you'll think it's funny, and if you're not a fan, then you won't, but I'm proof that you don't need to be a diehard fan of I Think You Should Leave to find this movie funny, and I know I'm not the only one, but I also know people who are fans of I Think You Should Leave who didn't think the movie was that funny, so your mileage may vary. Part of the reason why I do personalized movie recommendations instead of videos like this is because there's no movie that everyone is going to love. And obviously these movies won't be for everyone, but if you watch them and hate them, you can't say I didn't warn you. But if these movies sound appealing to you, I hope you check them out and I hope you enjoy them as much as I do. In the meantime, comment and let me know when's the last time you watched a comedy you didn't think you'd enjoy, but it ended up making you legitimately laugh out loud.